It's Monday night, Arsenal versus Everton. I've got a very special guest here to do a quick preview. Let's go. Come on, you goons, man. Don't let me down tonight, please. Please, please. I beg you, yeah, because if I don't, I have no doubt that this special guest is gonna make an absolute meme out of me. Yeah. So yeah, let's not mess up today, please. Yeah. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of GunnerKing's Court. I've got a very special guest today, figuring that we're playing Everton. I've been on Kieran's show, so it's good to have him on our show today. I would wish your team luck today, but no, we can't have that.
We're not gonna need it, mate. You know what I mean? We're gonna win. Watch.
Well, okay. Well, I admire your optimism, but yeah, like first of all, I think like for those that don't know, I'm sure that many people do. Like, why don't you sort of tell people where we can find you? You've got your YouTube stuff and everything else. So yeah, why don't you just give everyone the lowdown that's tuning in here where we can find you?
Just KieranRants, search it up, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere you want. And yeah, just KieranRants, simple as that. We do Everton watch-alongs and everything Everton related. So, you know, later on tonight, I think GunnerKing, you're going to make an appearance, aren't you? So if you want to see a meltdown from either one of us, to make sure you jump over tonight. But yeah, we're going to be live tonight. It'll be very interesting what happens.
Yeah, it's going to be good as well. Ali's going to be along for the ride. So you've got Lacazette and Saka representing for the Arsenal.
We'll be on the pitch, man. You two. We need Anthony Gordon here as well. So you know we get all the free lookalikes. So yeah,
in two places at the same time, the lot of us, man. But yeah, it's going to be good, man. And like, thanks everyone that's obviously watching at the moment. KRB, Tottenham fan. I'm not sure what he's doing with a Barcelona player, but yeah, Natasha. Oh, it's good to see you.
Yeah, big up to Natasha. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Natasha. How's it going? You all right? Two Tottenham fans. I can tell what they've come to see, man. Nigerian Englishman's son. Dad was robbed. One of our members is called Nigerian Englishman, and this guy's apparently his son.
But... right, okay, a nice little dynamic going on there.
But yeah, thanks everyone for obviously tuning in. Tell Kieran, I promise I'll do a stream next time Spurs play Everton. And yeah, Natasha, I spoke to you about this, man. You need to get on it for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Kieran is confident, surprisingly well, and it's going to be interesting. Yeah, like I think Everton haven't won in 9 games. I think
9 games, 2 months. Last time we won was against Norwich. Last time we drew was against Spurs, I think. So it's been it's not been good. It really hasn't been good. Yeah, and there's actually a protest going on. Do you know about that, GunnerKing?
Yeah, on the 27th minute, there's going to be a walkout, isn't there?
Yeah, so 27th minute, there's going to be a walkout to represent. You might wonder why is it 27 minutes? Well, it's to represent 27 years without a trophy, and it's a protest against the board. And obviously, with Brands leaving, there's a whole thing to unpack there, which I'm sure we'll get into. But Brands leaving, you know, there's been some things coming out about Brands saying that he's not been involved that much with the transfers, and it's actually shown him in a good light and the board in a bad light. So I think tonight it's going to be very tense against the board, and I think you've got to watch your backs, Mashori. You really have to tonight, and they've got to get the win because it could get sour in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to talk about with Everton as well. I think, yeah, like, you know, there was a lot of excitement when you appointed Benitez, you know, in spite of him having managed Liverpool before. I think, you know, his pedigree's there to see. He's won Champions Leagues. He's won things for a lot of clubs. And I thought you started the season quite well, you know, like your first couple of games. I think I looked at like your injuries at the moment. Like Calvert-Lewin being out. I think Decore's out.
He was out. He was out for 2 months, but he's back now, which is great to see.
Back
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He's a player that can definitely cause us problems in midfield. What other injuries have you got? You've got
So the injuries we've got right now, Yerry Mina at the back, apparently he's out,
a big miss,
but he's a bit of a maybe. He could be back in this game. It's a bit unsure. You've then also got Tom Davis, definite out. We've then got Dominic Calvert-Lewin again, a definite out. But bear in mind, a week ago, here's our injury list. We had here's the injuries that we've suffered so far this season. We've had Godfrey out with COVID. We've had Yerry Mina out, obviously, for quite a long time. Luca Digne was out for a period of time. Seamus Coleman was out for a period of time. Alan was out for a period of time. Decore was out for 2 months. I believe the only midfielder to stay fully fit the whole season has been Fabian Delph.
Yeah.
But Bamin, Gomez, Davis, all of them have been injured. Gray picked up a slight knock against Man City. And again, Richarlison went out of his suspension. So pretty much our whole first team has been out of an injury or suspension, bar Pickford. Really bar Pickford and Townsend, I think. And that shows how bad the injury crisis is. And I don't want to get into too much about, like Chelsea fans or whatever, but I saw some Chelsea fans were complaining about their injuries recently. Just have a look at Everton's injuries. Really, just have a look at Everton's injuries before, because our first team has been wiped out by injuries this season, and that is a contributing factor to why we've not been performing that well. But there's some positives because Yerry Mina might be back, and the only definite is Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Davis in this game.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure last.
Oh, he's gone. I guess I'm in control now. Yeah, but look, we will just continue on, I guess, until Gunner King comes back. So yeah, well, do you want to talk about Everton for a bit? I guess Iwobi Masterclass coming in against his former side. I'll actually tell you a bit about Iwobi. We're on here. Oh, here we go. Is he back?
Yeah,
he's good. Oh, good man.
Sorry about that, but I was trying to get one of the comments up, but Yerry Mina scored against us last season, didn't he?
Yes, and yes, he did, wasn't it? 2-1
last season, didn't you?
So last season it was 2-1 against you when we were at Goodison Park, I believe. And then when we went to the Emirates, it was 1-0 because I remember that game because of the Leno mistake. It was absolutely horrendous, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean, it's big misses, really. It really is. When you've got your star defender out and you've got your star striker out as well, it's hard to pick up results. I mean, could you imagine your team without Gabriel and... I mean, I know Orba's not been firing in the shot, but Smith Rowe, for example, you know what I mean? The 2 big players that we've been missing, and hopefully with one of them back tonight, it should be decent.
Yeah, and I think you say imagine, but our first 3 games of the season, like we had no Oba, Ben White had COVID for 2 of those games against City and Chelsea. Gabriel wasn't in there for any of those 3. Ramsdale wasn't there yet. Tomiyasu wasn't there yet. So that's how I feel about Everton outside looking in. I think the bigger problem is the injuries that you've had this season rather than it being a Benitez problem. But we know, like, obviously it's a results game and, a lot of fans are, they're just baying for blood at the moment. And it feels like Benitez is being made to be a fall guy for a bit, but like, I really feel like if you had your players fit, he would have done a lot better. And I kind of look at the earlier season form when they were fit. You were looking like a very good outfit, especially Demarai Gray.
It is the thing about Benitez. He was never going to get backed fully by the fans until we won a derby or we won some sort of silverware, because he's got this identity about him that he is a Liverpool man. He is a Liverpool manager. And look, with Benitez, it really is live by the sword, die by the sword, because you bring in an experienced manager who, as you saw, got results when we had the first team there. But recently, there's been some performances where you really question it. And I will say this about Benitez. You look at that Liverpool game. We played a 4-4-2 against a 4-3-3, a natural midfield overload for Liverpool, and we got overrun by the midfield. That's where we lost the game against Liverpool. So
and that's where they're strongest as well.
Honestly, exactly. And you know what? The thing is about that Liverpool game is tactically we were wrong, totally wrong. Rafa was. And that I think that built up a bit of resentment and built up a bit of resentment for me as well, because it was negative. You know, we've been seeing negative football all season since our injuries, really. Since those first 5 games, we've been seeing negative football on the pitch. Then we come out to Liverpool and play the most positive football we've ever seen. But at the cost of that, we concede 4 goals because let's not, take the mick here. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, very hard to get a result out of any of them. You know what I mean? And the thing is about what I think about Rafa is, okay, it's not his fault. He's not the problem at Everton, I don't think. But he's not the man to fix it. He's not the man to fix Everton, I don't think, because firstly, he's not got that identity as I am an Everton. I know what it means to be an Everton manager. I have the full backing of the fans. And the second thing is, there has been some very questionable decisions. Why is Alex Iwobi getting a full 90 against Brentford? Why is Rondon getting 11 games without a goal contribution? And actually, I won't, have a go at Rondon because he's actually been all right against Liverpool.
Yes.
On the whole, 11 games without a goal contribution. If you just take it at the surface value and don't look into why that might happen, it's a poor record. And the amount of goals we scored as well, not many goals either. I think we've scored about probably 4 goals in this 2-month period that we've lost all these games. And it's just constant negative football, and people don't want to see that. And this is why people are building up the idea of let's bring in someone like a Duncan Ferguson, because yes, he may not be the best. He may not have the best experience at other clubs and whatnot, but he'll probably play a bit of positive football, and he'll bring back that Everton identity and know what it means to be an Everton manager.
The interesting thing about Ferguson, the shout for Duncan Ferguson, is when he took over as a caretaker manager before you brought Ancelotti in.
Yeah,
I remember you had a real bounce there. I think you beat Chelsea. I remember you slapped 3 goals past them.
We beat Chelsea. We drew against Man United, didn't we? And did we play Arsenal? I always forget the third fixture.
I think you did, because I think it's 3 games at Goodison Park. We haven't won, by the way. We drew 1 and we've lost 2 from our last 3 games at Goodison Park. So, I think that might have been one of those games, actually, that draw.
Yeah, I think it was Chelsea win, Man United draw away. I remember that. And it was probably an Arsenal draw as well at Goodison, as you said there. So there you go. Planet says there 0-0 against Arsenal at Goodison. So that's why the idea of Duncan's being thrown around. And I'll tell you this much now: Rafa Benitez will not get sacked if we lose tonight, or if we lose the remaining fixtures in December.
I honestly, I just think you lot. I feel a bit sorry for you just with the injuries, because it is like a lot of people. I try to be as consistent as I can be, and I was saying the same thing about our first 3 games, and Edu said the same thing. And you look at the difference when we've had those, okay, we didn't beat Liverpool, okay, we didn't beat United, okay, we didn't beat Chelsea and City. Chelsea and City, we didn't play with the new players. So, okay, Liverpool and United are the tests that we failed, but we've won or failed to be defeated against Brighton and Crystal Palace, and won every other game. So, it makes a massive difference. I just think you could see what Rafa wanted to do, with bringing Rondon in with Calvert-Lewin. He wanted Rondon as backup. He wanted to kind of flood your midfield and get midfielders in and around Dominic Calvert-Lewin to help him chip in with goals. You can see what he's trying to do, but then you lose your main central midfielder around the same time your main centre back, and Yerry Mina is the guy that plays out from the back as well. Like him, maybe Keane when Keane's fit. They're your ball playing centre backs, the guys that are going to progress the ball forward. So you've got no progression from your defence. You've then got your main, Decore and Allen, I think, are excellent. I think they're really good players. When you got them both, I did not understand how we didn't contend with you to get either one or both of those players. I think they've been great buys and great players for Everton. And you can see, when one of them it's not just that Decore is missing, it affects Allen's performances because of that partnership that they've got in the middle. So it's like losing 2 players, like losing the effectiveness of 2 players, and then that's affecting how your strikers are receiving possession. Calvert-Lewin's not there, so you're using your plan B striker,
Sorry, go on.
it's just a bit. I just think it's just a bit more unfortunate circumstances from, and maybe obviously seeing the tactics and what you're saying, you might be right about that, but I think seeing how they've been impacted by these injuries is probably, I think, a major factor. And look, I've heard some people saying, "Oh, Benitez could go if you lose today." I still think he could feel a bit hard done by, like with that. But
can I just say about Benitez? He's not going to leave tonight because the whole situation with Brands. I'll give you a little update on this because it's important to the Benitez and what Benitez is going to do. So with Rafa Benitez, he's going to stay till February or January time. So we've sacked Brands because Mashori didn't align with his sort of view of the club and what to progress forward. And I could get into the room. I could get into who, whether Marshall Brands signed this player or it was Mashori. For example, Mashori, it's been found out now, according to the Liverpool Echo, that Mashori was the person who signed Alex Iwobi. And it wasn't Brands. And Brands has famously been impacted by that signing and famously been blamed for that signing. But what we've seen now is that Mashori is back in Benitez and is saying to Benitez, you get the January transfer window and you get to decide on the players we sign. That's in essence what's happening.
Yeah.
So regardless of results in December, Benitez is staying until I would say probably February, March. If you're being honest with yourself, you're going to need yourself to have a month with January signings and whatnot. And if it's not changing by then, you change it up. And then, as long as we're not in a relegation battle, I think, look, this whole relegation battle talk, it's a bit.
No,
I understand why people are saying relegation battle, but then again, I don't. I mean, you could argue we are 5 points away from the relegation zone, but on the same metric, we're about 7 points away from top 4. Like it's very fine margins. We win the next two games. We're looking at ourselves at 10th, 11th. It's just because of the nature of the losses that we've had. And that's why I'm saying as soon as we get a win, whether that's tonight, whether that's Crystal Palace, whether that's Leicester, 3 games that arguably we would win last season. If we were in a hot run of form, we would say we could win each game here. And I wouldn't fear too much on us being 16th. I wouldn't emphasize it too much because, to be quite honest with you, the teams that are below us, I doubt many of them are going to get above us, bar maybe Watford.
You look at the quality that you've got relative to those teams below you. Yeah. It's not even a marginal difference. Like Calvert-Lewin got 16 goals last season, didn't take a single penalty.
Yeah, it honestly, as soon as Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes back, people will realise how obviously important Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, but how much you need a goal scorer. You put Dominic Calvert-Lewin next to Rondon, I honestly think that's a deadly partnership. I really do. You need things. The problem we've got now is we've got no true out-and-out goal scorer. Richarlison, I'm not scapegoating at him here. I really am not, right? But
he doesn't get enough goals.
Where has he been? You look at Richarlison as being a 60, 70 million pound player. You honestly think, if anyone thinks he's a 60, 70 million pound player, which I think he is, where has he been these past 2 months? I understand the argument of, there's not enough balls going forward and the conservative football and everything else like that, and everything I've gone through. But realistically, I think if we had Dominic Calvert-Lewin in these 2 months, we would score a lot more goals than with Richarlison up front. And this goes back to either the idea that Richarlison's not good enough or Richarlison cannot play as a striker and he plays as a winger. And I want to err more to the side of he plays as a winger.
I agree. And I can see quality in Richarlison. I think not just this season. I think if we looked at his overall time at Everton since he's joined from Watford, there've been some good moments. He scored in some big games.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, I put him in that scorer of great goals, not a great goal scorer category. And I think that's what he needs to work on. He needs to deliver more goals. I mean, when he went to Everton, I was seeing links to Barcelona, Real Madrid, all of the top teams. Us, everyone wanted him. Everyone wanted him, and I respectfully, I was just like, I hadn't really seen that at Watford. What everyone was buying into him. I'm not saying in flashes, I haven't changed my mind on him in moments. I just think the consistency isn't there. I definitely think he's more of a wide player than a striker at the moment, and it's interesting as well. Calvert, well, the other thing I wanted to kind of speak about, and I'll cluster it all together. I don't really think Benitez was properly backed in the summer. You spent the least. You bought Damari Gray for like $1.5 million. I don't think you really bought anyone else, did you?
No, it is our first. Well, we had 5 signings. Damari Gray, 1.7 million. Townsend on a free. Rondon on a free. Begovic on a free. Lonergan on a free. I think it was a good window considering he didn't get backed, but it was a good window. Obviously, I think you said, yeah, but he didn't get backed at all.
In a sense of, it's a good window, as in you got in good players economically that have quality, that have experience.
Yeah.
But in terms of like Everton's aspirations, like last season, they were very much talking about, you guys were very much talking about competing with us for a top 6 place, or even top 4, like Europe. I think if I was looking at how you finished last season and the teams that you did beat, because it wasn't just us, you took a lot of scalps last season.
Yeah.
I think towards the end, maybe it petered off a bit. But I think if I looked at that, I would have thought, looking at Damari Gray, 1.5 million, the rest of them free transfers, go and get
we can't though. We can't. FFP, it's done us in. That's the problem. FFP's done us in, and there's actually, it is the thing that it's apparently messed up off our FFP. So there's like a big there was a massive article that came out yesterday, and it was so this is sort of a disagreement that happened, right? And obviously, remember when we signed Ben Godfrey on deadline day? We've already done the 3 signings. We signed Ben Godfrey on deadline day. That was probably because Brands and Mashori had a disagreement over whether to sign him or not. Brands said that they didn't have enough funds for Godfrey. FFP would do them in, and we wouldn't be able to sign many players in the future. Mashori went against that, signed Godfrey anyway, and now we're in the situation we're in. Now FFP has done us in. Now, I don't know how much Ben Godfrey signing has actually done us in, because it was a massive problem. We're not scapegoating it like this signing of Ben Godfrey.
He's a good player as well.
That was like the cherry on top. And I think that, look, I'm not going to take them, you know what, and not ends justify the means, because I would rather not be in this FFP situation right now, but I'm not sure how much would Ben Godfrey sign and actually affect us FFP-wise. It might, if it's a lot, please tell me about it. Tell me how much it is. But on the surface of it, £20 million on an FFP thing, we've got many more, many other signings which were horrendous and probably damaged our FFP a lot more than Ben Godfrey signing. And that just sort of shows, I think that signing really does show, if you want to spin the narrative of, it just shows how reckless Mashori has been with his signings. Yeah. And it's got us into this position where Benitez hasn't been properly backed. So it'll be interesting. I think this is why they're going to give him till January. If we give him till January, we back him a little bit. I think predictions, I think we can spend about 20-30 million in January.
Where would you spend it?
Right back. Firstly, right back. And I think we get Jesse Lingard. If we can sign a right back for 10-15 million, a cheap right back, just some cover or whatever, because we're not going to sign Max Aarons or any of them. And then we bring in someone like a Jesse Lingard. How much are they going to accept for Jesse Lingard? 5-10 million? I think they would.
Yeah, because he's gone.
He's going to go anyway. You know what I mean? So, and he's got 6 months left on his contract. Newcastle are the main ones coming in for him. I think we go in for Lingard.
I think West Ham have got to say in it as well. I've got Louise here, man, like West Ham fan. She's saying in my TikTok live, she's not happy to hear what you're saying, man. About
well,
I think they'll be in the mixer as well because he's played there. But look, he's a good player.
I think the thing is with Lingard on West Ham, even though West Ham fans probably want him back, how much does David Moyes actually want him back? They probably take him for free, but they got Vlasic. They've got a lot of other players in that position, and I think if you're looking at a 28-year-old Jesse Lingard on the surface of it, it's not exactly a must-need signing for West Ham. I think they'll be focusing on other areas, like probably a backup striker, like a backup set. They'll be looking at backups across the park, really. And you know what? With Everton, we need 2 main signings, a right back and a creative midfielder. And I think if we do that, honestly, if we sign those 2 players, whoever they may be, and then actually have a fully fit squad from January up until May, Benitez can get top 7 or top 8 if fixtures go right. Honestly, it's bold, but things turn around massively. Newcastle went from the relegation zone last year up to 12th.
Well,
Genuinely,
West Ham went from not in a great place to 5th.
Honestly, I know it seems like a massive stretch, and it is. It absolutely is. But if we get the right run of fixtures, and if all the stars align, we have a fully fit squad. Benitez is fully backed. We could get at least top half, at least, and maybe even get into the 7th or 8th. And I'm not saying we will. I absolutely am not saying we will, because I want to see the results first. Yeah. We're 7 points off. We're 7 points off top 5 now. It's honestly three wins in a row now, and the whole mentality of the club changes.
Look, it changed for us, right? We didn't win our first 3 games. We were relegation fodder. You know, we've put a bit of a run together. I look at the quality in Everton squad. There is quality there. You know, like, and this is why I've left this comment up. I really want to talk about this Gordon kid in a minute, but because I really like him. I think he's quality. I think he's a bit rough around the edges, but I think he can be a good player. But I definitely think, it's not impossible. I remember when United got Bruno, they were like 10th. They got him in January. They went, that January can change things. You know, they got him in January. They went on that run. They've not looked outside of the top 4 since. So, and that was 18 months ago, like a season and a half, 2 seasons ago. So it's possible.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, it is possible, for Everton to do it. I wouldn't put it past them.
It's really fine margins. The league are fine margins. Oh, okay, we're not going to go top 4. Absolutely not. We are definitely not. We probably won't get top 6 either. But it's fine. It really is fine margins between where we are now and 7th. It really is. Have a look at the league table now. It looks all doom and gloom if you're looking down. But let's have a look up. If we win tonight, we'll be looking up. And this is the thing. Every fan's reactionary. I'm reactionary. You're reactionary. Every single fan's reactionary. But if we're looking at it on the basis of it, we've still got January. So we've still got time to invest. Thing is, we're not getting these results. And it's not like we've got our full squad. We haven't got our full squad and we're losing. It's how much of a surprise. If you look at the games individually, I'd say Liverpool, you'd expect to lose. Tottenham, you'd expect to get a point there. Man City, you'd expect to lose. West Ham, without your main players, you probably would expect to lose, unfortunately. The only games I question are probably Wolves, Brentford, and I think there's one that I'm missing. So those are the games you question. But when you mix those bad games with games that are unwinnable, it's very hard to win them games, isn't it? Because the mentality's not there, and you can't really go on a run. I would liken our position last year. I'd liken our position this year to Arsenal last year, actually. And I think it's very poetic that we are actually playing Arsenal now because we're in the middle of a bad run. And I think Arsenal were as well last year, weren't they? In the middle of a terrible run in the winter. And I feel like we can take today as a symbol of, look where Arsenal are now. Now, we might not get to that position. We probably won't. But look where Arsenal are now compared to where they were last year. It's a massive difference. And I feel like that's exactly the same. Any team can go from 16th to 6th or 7th with the right manager and the right team and the right mentality, most importantly. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Chelsea, obviously, they started last season terribly. They flipped it on its head. They were nowhere near the top 4 around this time. They left it until the last day of the season to actually get that, won the Champions League. Obviously, they did take the change in the manager route. But very quickly, I do want to speak about, like, players, like key players. And I think one of them is this Gordon guy. I've been watching him. I think the game where he stood out to me was against United, where he drew. I thought he did well there. He didn't. I don't think he played the whole game, but I thought he did all right. I look at him and I see something there. I think there's promise there, and I think maybe with your squad having less injuries in it, maybe he could stand out. Maybe he did get his chance as a result of the injuries, but I've been impressed with him. Do you think there are other players that? Well, first, your thoughts on Gordon, but also what other players for Everton do you think will be key tonight?
I think Gordon is he's got the right mentality. He can get up to that level if he wants. Now, would he start if we had our first team back? Probably not. No, but he's got the right mentality and he's got the right attitude. And on the pitch, he gets the ball and he tries to progress it forward. He tries to get a goal, and he knows what it means to be an Everton player. And that is why a lot of fans have a lot of time for him. Now, will Gordon be in the Champions League in the next 5 years? Probably not. No, he won't. You know what I mean? But will Anthony Gordon be a really good Everton player? A decent Everton player in the next 2-3 years? Probably so. Yeah, I think he's a very decent. He will be a very good, or good the right word, a very decent Premier League player. You know what I mean? He may not progress to the very top, but he could start in a top 16 in the future. He absolutely could.
Do you see his natural position in the fullback positions? Like, because I've looked at him and maybe thought, I'd like to see what he would do higher up the pitch.
I think that
the transition.
Yeah, what I've noticed actually, and this sort of links to Luca Digne, is he obviously he's playing left wing, but in reality he plays very deep. Gordon recently, and same with Digne, and same with our wingers, because we need a lot of cover at the back. So he's not being given that freedom to roam. Normally, that freedom to roam goes to the two strikers or the two attackers, and the wingers have to constantly come back. But I think Gordon, look, he didn't have a great loan spell at Preston last year, but you give Gordon out to a side where we are actually now, quite ironically enough. You give Gordon to a side in the Premier League that are in the lower half of the Premier League, you could get a few goals, but he needs to get that first goal. He's only had one assist in the Premier League so far. He's not had any goals in the Premier League. So, yes, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for his future. He could be a baller, but he needs to get he needs to get the goals. He needs to get the assists first, and then we can start talking about him.
Yeah, no, look, I think, it's gonna. I think there's something there with him. I do like him, I think. You've signed some decent players. Like Godfrey's one of them. Like last season, there was 3 players that I sat and watched Everton sign, and I was like, why the hell have Arsenal just not gone in for them? One of them was Godfrey, and then it was Decore and Allen.
Yeah,
I would love to have seen what they would have done in this team. Like, no disrespect to Everton, but like we've got more quality around them that I think could have insulated them a bit more, and they've stood out in Everton's team. Yeah, so I just really, I think Godfrey was really good last season. He was filling in a left back, filling in a right back, playing a centre back, back 4, back 5, whatever it was. Yeah. He was just playing, and he was looking really good. I think he got an injury as well, didn't he? At some point.
The thing is with Godfrey, he's got COVID this year. This is why he's not been balling out. He's got COVID, and he's in a defence which, let's be honest, I think our defence is quite solid, but it's not. I mean, I can't be that deluded to say it is solid. And people always disrespect Godfrey on the comments and whatnot, and they all do. You know what I mean? But Godfrey is a phenomenal centre back, and if you had him in your team, you'd not be complaining, and you'd be rating him as much as I rate him. You really would.
No, I think he obviously went to the Euros, so the England setup see a future in him. I think he's a top player, definitely. I think he's gonna have a big future, and I think if he plays tonight, then I think defensively Everton are going to be better for it. The other one interesting transfer story that it interests both of our clubs, like. Arsenal, I think, have been lacking in firepower. If you look at the goals that we scored this season relative to the teams ahead of us, it's not good enough. Ober's he's got more goals than last season, but like the Newcastle game, 6-7 good chances, hitting the post, a few missed penalties. I think the Watford game where he actually took goals off of people's plate from touching them in offside positions. So, his form's been a bit, up and down. I think that's been a hallmark of us, like the last season or so. And there's been a lot of links to your boy, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen them as well.
I have. I think that I don't want him to go, but if he goes, you get top 4.
You think that's it?
I think if you had Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I think if you had a fully fit Dominic Calvert-Lewin this year, you'd get top 4.
I think
He's the
I,
missing piece for your team.
I've,
Honestly, I think he
I've been
is.
saying this, like I genuinely think a lot of people been getting onto the manager. We lose to Liverpool, we lose to Man United, Chelsea, and City, and they're like, "Oh, we can't beat any of the big teams." Last team, we gave you 4 points, 6 points, stopped us from being in the top four, but we beat Man United, we beat Chelsea twice, so we did beat big teams last season. But it was games against you that, respectfully, we shouldn't really be losing. That we only took we lost both of them. Those 6 points were the difference between us being in 8th. The 4th place team was only 6 points ahead of us. So those 2 wins against Everton, 2 wins against Aston Villa, who I think also took 6 points off of us, that would have made us a top 4 team.
Yeah, and can I just raise one as well? If we would have won against Sheffield United, if we would have won against Sheffield United at home, okay, and didn't lose 1-0 against them, we would have Europe this year.
There you go. I just think people get caught in the wrong fine margins. Obviously you want to beat the big teams, but I've been saying it all week. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's record in the 2 seasons he did get Champions League football against the other top 5 teams was terrible.
Yeah,
awful, and he got top 4. So for clubs like Arsenal and Everton that are trying to get into the European spots or into the Champions League spots, I just think a lot of us get hung up on we want to be competing with those guys, and beating them shows that we can do that. We did that last season. We beat Man United at Old Trafford last season. Our next 8 games, we didn't win.
It's just, honestly, this is why I don't say we're in a relegation battle. We genuinely win the next 3 games, and the hard games. Okay, I do get that, but if we win the next 3 games, everyone's going to be like, "Oh, European battle back on." You know what I mean? Not Rafa. I don't think anyone would say Rafa we trust, but everyone would sort of back Rafa. Then it genuinely is just about a swing of events, and you just need good momentum, and that's why I'm never saying we're in a relegation battle until the day we get relegated, which I don't think we'll ever be. I'm never saying we're in a relegation battle because we won't be. We won't be. I'm sorry. Call it ignorance. Call it whatever you're on. Call it arrogance. But I think it's the same as Arsenal last year. Oh, Arsenal are in a relegation battle. They're not. They're going to pick up form, and that they're going to come back and finish in 8th. I mean, I think there's still a chance at Conference League. We probably won't get it. We won't get it. We won't, but there is a chance still. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think you've got to definitely look at that, and I think obviously I don't want to talk about it too much, but I don't think Sigurdsson's situation really helped either. But when you was talking about the creative midfielder, I mean, look, this guy brought you goals every season.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's just I don't know what's happening with him. His contract runs out at the end of the year, and I think that'll be it.
Yeah,
that's all I say on Sigurdsson is his contract runs out at the end of the year.
But you look at the goals that he gave you in midfield as well. I think that really helped you, and I think what you were saying about a midfielder, I think specifically one that can plug that gap, that would chime in, 8, 9, 10 goals a season.
Yeah,
deadly from set pieces as well.
Then again, he wasn't at his best. I don't think. I think he was would he get would you get into this team right now? He's not in my starting 11. He never. I understand it, but I'd rather have Richarlison at camp. I think Richarlison would do a good job. You know what I mean? So he's going to go in the summer. Same with Tucson. Same with many other players. Probably Delph as well. So it's a good start. It really is a good start.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're going to have to see basically.
Yeah.
But in terms of today, so I don't know if you're actually serious about this 4-3 claim.
No, I am. Yeah.
He's going bold.
I'm going bold. Why, you may ask? There's 2 ways this go about. 2-0 win to you or 4-3 to us. No in between. If we play conservative football, 2-0 to you. It's as simple as that. If we go all out attack, Rafa goes, "All right, lads. Yep. Attacking football, that's it. Goals, 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 goals. That's all I want. That's all I want. Goals.
To be
That's what
honest,
he's going to say tonight. He's going to start Rondon and Richarlison up top, and he's going to. I'll predict it now. He's going to play 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1. Alan Decore got Alan Decore, Gray, Townsend, Rondon, Richie. That's going to be his starting lineup. That's going to be his front six, so to say. Decore is going to be bombing forward. Same with Gray, same with Townsend, same with Rondon, same with Richie. They're going to get as many goals as possible in this first 60 minutes. Make it a brilliant show because Rafa's going to know I can't play 11 men behind the ball with this tension in the ground. It's going to be too tense in the ground to play any sort of conservative football in my book. So go out there. If we go out there, score a goal straight away, the crowd are going to be up for it. Even if you can, we go and concede a goal, we're going to be up for it again. And I think the only way we win tonight is by getting the crowd on our side or getting the crowd on Rafa's side by saying, look, we're going to score as many goals as possible, play a lot of attacking football and give it our all. This is what the Rafa way can be. We can play attacking football if we want to. And I feel like that way we can sort of free up the tension in the ground because there will be tension within the ground. I'm not sure. The protest is going to happen there. And if we play conservative football, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4, it could be 5 to Arsenal.
Just imagine the difference because you said the protest is happening on the 27th minute.
Yeah.
Imagine you got a goal before the 27th minute.
Well, the protest will still happen, but I said this now.
It would still happen, but the crowd would be lifted, wouldn't they? There would be like a bit of like, well, what are we protesting about?
And I think that the 27th minute, I've said this before, the 27th minute to whether it's going to be another 5 minutes or I'm not sure whether it's going to be 5 minutes or till half time. That's going to be the best football we've ever played. It's just such an Everton thing to happen. It definitely will be. Half the crowd will be protesting like we should. We should be protesting, absolutely, right? But Rafa's, it's just such an Everton thing for us to play the best football possible in those 20, in those 5 minute, 10-minute gap there. But I think that, look, the only way to get the crowd on side before that 27 minutes is by scoring it before the 27th minute. And the only way you can do that is by attacking football. Because I tell you now, if we go into that half-time 0-0, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad in there. It really will be. And I don't blame the crowd for this bad. Obviously, I don't want anyone committing crimes and all that. And I wasn't saying that was going to happen anyway. But, the atmosphere is going to be... It's going to be toxic, man. If it's 0-0, you're going to see Sky commenting on it. And it's a good time to actually do it. Monday Night Football, Sky Sports, Haaland's in the studio tonight watching it with them. So he'll get a bit of a grasp into what English football's like. But seriously, though, if Rafa wants to stay on side with the fans, or try to regain it back, he's just got to score straight away. 4-3.
4-3 is Kieran's score prediction to Everton. He's gone bold, right? So, respectfully, I'm going to go with 3-0 or 4-0 Arsenal.
Don't put respectfully there. I'm
sorry, but
no, don't blame me, man. The
thing is, it's difficult though because we're not really scoring either.
Mate, I don't blame you. You're gonna. But if I could take it another way, you're going to batter us tonight because it's going to be too tense in there and he's going to play conservative football. Someone's going to make a mistake within the first 5 minutes and we're going to be screwed. Exactly. It could be. That's it. You know what I mean?
Our record is really not good at Goodison Park. Our last 3 or 4 games. Everton's a tough place to go. Like any Merseyside club, right? The thing that you've got to know about any Merseyside club is the 12th man and the power of it. Like, I don't think there is more fan power like in world football than in like your Merseyside derbies, where you've seen it throughout history. In my childhood, because obviously I'm a lot older than you, I've seen the fans win and lose games in these derbies. I've seen big European nights, the same thing. Like they are very, very, very passionate. And I think that's probably what not suited us. Our away record this season isn't good either. I think we've only taken like 6 or 7 points away from home. So I actually think, it's not going to be as... Thinking about it, maybe my prediction is a bit bold. I think maybe it might even end up being 1-0 or 2-0 because For us, it's cagey. We've got a young and inexperienced squad, young and inexperienced manager. Obviously, Arteta's got his history with Everton as well. So it's that pressure might weigh down on us with seeing the results of the other games, maybe. However, I do feel like we are creating chances. And I just think that the injuries are just a bit too telling, for us not to get a win. But look, Everton are always going to make it hard for Arsenal. Like they always, even before those 3 games, like you just look at the inconsistency of the results. Like Everton at Goodison it's never an easy fixture.
Yeah,
Never.
well, we'll see. It's just I don't know what's going to happen. I will know more for sure when the lineups come out.
Yeah,
and normally I have a wave of confidence when the lineups come out, so wait for the TikToks, wait for them. Honestly,
I'm gonna see them, bro, and I'll just be adding them to my favorites just in case.
I'll tag every Arsenal creator out there. You know what I mean? Waiting for it, man. Come on, you know what I mean? One day it's gotta work. I've been doing it for the last 2 months, so one day it's gotta work. You know what I mean?
Just don't,
maybe
the
common trend.
Please. Don't, man. That's the thing, though. But the thing about Arsenal, if you look back here, whenever you've had a striker that's not in form, hasn't scored or got an assist for a while, whenever you've got a team that hasn't had a win in a number of games, we always seem to be the team that let people off the hook. We've like, I'll get a spreadsheet or something. I'll do something somewhere where I can show all the records that we've allowed teams to break under Arteta. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. None of them are really committed to my memory at the moment. But well, even United the other day, right? You could see that as an example. I mean, they were on a poor run of form.
Yeah,
they had a.
We should have whooped them, mate. I'm sorry, you should have whooped them.
They were there for the taking. We were the more informed team. We are the team that has more of a plan, more of a style of pattern of play that we've been playing for a long time. And Mondi here, he's a United fan from the Man United agenda. And that's what they wanted Ollie out for. They haven't got their shit together. We had our shit together. Their interim manager beat us effectively. So yeah, that's what I worry about with this Everton game as well. Just our luck when teams are coming that aren't in good form. That are on a run of games where they haven't won or they haven't scored or they haven't kept a clean sheet or the amount of times in the last 2 seasons where we've just given people a leg up. It's ridiculous. So I don't expect it to be easy, but it's a must-win game for us. Looking at United, who we could have gone 8 points ahead of.
Wow.
Now at best we beat you, we go 2 points ahead of them again. Spurs win the game in hand, so theoretically, to lose and them have a game in hand over us would be massive for them. They would have a game in hand and be a point ahead of us, so they could go 4 points ahead of us. And there's so much riding on this game for both teams, man. I think both teams are going to go for it, as you said as well.
Yeah,
I think Benitez is going to know that his best form of defense is attack, and
exactly. Yeah.
I think we are playing attacking football anyway. That's pretty much the brand under Arteta. Don't let us not scoring fool you. Like, we are creating chances as an attacking team, but I just don't think our strikers are pulling the weight.
Well, here's what I'd say is Rafa will be stupid to start a 5 at the back or a 4 at the back with conservative football. If he goes conservative football, I think he'd be stupid to do that. And I think tonight, what will tell me is if Rafa goes out and attacks, I'll see there's a plan. But if he goes out tonight and plays conservative backwards football, I think I'm going to be more in tune to be Rafa out. And even though Rafa's not going to leave, I think I'll be more in tune to go, where's the plan? Where's the plan? You know what I mean? And we'll discuss it, obviously, more. And I actually will pinpoint tonight when we're watching it when this period is, are we playing conservative football? Are we playing attacking football? And that's when I can give you the best grasp of when I'll be thinking whether we're playing attacking or conservative football. But it's very mixed tonight, and I don't know what's going to happen.
It's going to be interesting, man. And I'm just going to rattle through some of these comments as well because, we've got a lot of Evertonians and Arsenal fans here at the moment. So, I mean, in terms of if you were to look at a right back in January, who would you look at?
No clue, mate. I'd love Max Aarons, but I have no clue.
Go to Norwich again, right? And look, Norwich.
Well, you know what? I'd love Max Aarons, but we can't afford them. I couldn't name anyone. It's someone within the realm of 10 to 20 million, and that's the best I can give. I'd want someone younger, but then again, I'm not fussed. I really am not fussed. So yeah.
I think that's the one. That's been the one pleasing thing about Arsenal's transfer business. Is we signed all these young players. Everyone said we wasted 150 million. They were, underwhelming. No one was expecting much of them. And ironically, and we should talk about this a bit, Ramsdale got picked for England against San Marino. I don't want to read into that too much because I think you could see that was a game where he wanted to try fringe players.
There's no chance that he's going to start over Pickford in the Euros or the World Cup or anything. I'm sorry. You cannot say to me Pickford is worse than Ramsdale. I don't care whether it's on form or not. And I know this argument of, it's on form. I don't care about on form. On form, Townsend has got more goals than Messi. Doesn't mean that he's better. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry. I hate this whole thing about Ramsdale. I think he's overhyped. And I'm going to get scrutinized for it tonight. But I genuinely think Ramsdale's the most overhyped player I have ever seen. That is not a Chelsea player. Really, honestly, I think that Chelsea fans obviously overhype their players a lot. But Ramsdale, man, he's getting thrown into categories better than De Gea, better than Mendy, better than Edison, better than Alisson. He's not even better than Schmeichel.
He's not better than any of those keepers, but
he's not.
Obviously,
he's not top 7 keepers in my book. At least I could name many other keepers. Alisson, Edison. I could go through them now if you want. I've been
before the United game. He had the third, and I haven't checked it since. But before the United game, he had the third highest save percentage.
Yeah,
not just in the Premier League, all of Europe's top 5 leagues.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll have a look into that save percentage, but it's a bit skewed, the save percentage in my book, because the teams that tend to be lower down in the if this is the right start, I'm not sure if it is or not, so don't scrutinize me. If this is the right start, teams that tend to be lower down in the bottom half, like the Nick Popes, the Meliers, they tend to have a high
defenses in front of them.
Yeah, and they have a really high save percentage because of the amount of shots that come off against them. So I'll just have a little look at that. I mean, I'll have a look at the stats later, obviously, but I'm sorry, Pickford starts every single day for me, and it's not even a question. And I don't think
it's way too early to say he's better than Pickford or any of those other goalkeepers you mentioned. I'm not one of these delusional Arsenal fans. I'm not gonna mention any names, but I'm not one of these. I try and balance like my view, but I would say definitely of all of those keepers, there is an argument to say his form has been as good as anyone's. In the games, I think he's only a clean sheet or two behind Mendy, Alisson. I think he's got more than Edison. So, and all 3 of those goalkeepers have got a far superior back 4 in front of them. It's not even close. So I think he's playing very well at the moment. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think he's better than Pickford yet. He's got a lot more to do, a lot more to learn. But I think what I will say is if he carries on performing how he is at the moment, and people can look at that Liverpool game, we lost 4-0. I've had Liverpool fans say that he pulled like a triple save off against Mane. He pulled off like 4 or 5 decent saves in that game. Every game that we've played, he's pulled off 1 or 2 very good saves. He's been called on in every game that I've watched. And there's been a point where it's clutch, where that's the difference between us conceding and not. I think he's been a safe pair of hands. And I think with the World Cup being in November next season, he's got he's definitely gone on the plane. I'll say that much. I can't.
No, yeah. Well,
I can't see any. I can't see any other players at least keeping him off the plane. It's going to be interesting to see. You know, I think Southgate is going to favour his more experienced players because he always has. But I think there's an outside chance. I'll say, you know, that maybe, you know, like.
Well,
but he's got to keep up what he's doing until November.
Well, Ben White got called up, didn't he? So Ben White got called up. So you're spot on. Anyone can get it. So I wouldn't say no.
Pickford's been very good over the last two major international tournaments, you know. So
I think when you're looking at England, you've got to look at the international tournaments as well. When he's done it there, he would have got player of the tournament in my book. If we went to if we would have won the Euros, he would have got player of the tournament.
How many people saved Jorginho penalties?
Well, I mean, recently it's a lot, but not before then. Not many. Wasn't. Not many. In a World Cup, in a Euro final like that, I think that, you know, I think respect needs to be put on his name by many people. Not you, GunnerKing, because I think you do respect him, but many people I could name who need to respect Pickford's name. To be quite honest with you, so
yeah. I try not to get carried away. We all get carried away, as you said before. You know, like, you know, you see these guys playing, you know, and then you're just like, and I say it to Chelsea fans a lot as well, you know, like they won the Champions League and then all of a sudden Kante's better than Vieira. And I'm just like,
yeah, there you go.
And it's coming from a bunch of fans that weren't old enough to even watch Vieira in his prime. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like respectfully, because I love Kante. I love him. Like just because you're a rival player doesn't mean that I don't love watching Harry Kane or Son or you know, any of Chelsea's players, you know, or West Ham, any of their players, Antonio, Berahima, you know, Declan Rice, you know, like I'm not one of those salty guys. Like I can give a rival player their flowers. That's not the problem. But you know, one Champions League, you know, where okay, he was their best player in the semi-final and, you know, the quarterfinal. I think he got man of the match in the final as well. But Patrick Vieira, like, calm down. So I get the sentiment, you know,
it's
like
reactionary bias, isn't it? It's what happens when you're really reactionary. It's just that's why I always think the on form part's just stupid. I could have said on form Townsend's the best right winger in the Premier League before Salah started doing well because he had 4 goals and 3 assists in the first 5 games. Like, it's just one of them, isn't it? Really, people go over good patches, bad patches.
I think with form though, like when you're looking at a form guide, it's got to be over a bigger sample than 13 games. Like, you know, if it's like half a season, okay, that's when it becomes tangible, like, but yeah, like, look, I think Arsenal fans have got very excited about seeing Ramsdale perform, and I think that's heightened because none of us wanted him. You know, like we all thought we were paying too much for him. We didn't see him as being a goalkeeper that could be better than Leno, that would displace him. And we all thought that 30 million could be spent better elsewhere. And look, I said the moment we bought him, he would go into the first team. I was like, there's no way Arteta is spending 30 million on a goalkeeper to sit on the bench. It's not going to happen. And I don't think any of us expected the sort of performances that we've seen from him. Not just as a shot stopper. I think like what you see, what's very good with Pickford and Ramsdale is they're both really commanding keepers. So like Pickford's always being vocal. He's always shouting at people, telling them where to be. He's always marshalling his other defenders. When corners are coming or crosses are coming, they're both authoritative. You know, like they will both step off their line. They will try and claim the ball and put their team on the front foot by distributing it well afterwards. They're very similar in the mold that they play in. I think they're I don't want to say passion merchants, but like they do feed off of the reaction of the crowd. They interact with the crowd. They do that to G themselves up. You know, when defenders are making clearances, you're seeing both of them go up to their defenders, fist bump them, chest bump them, you know, like encourage them. And I think they're leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like Ramsdale's like a regen of Pickford in some respects. He's not the tallest either, and he relies really heavily on his athleticism and his reflexes to get across the goal and make like very athletic, you know, sort of saves that are very good on the eye. But yeah, I think that's going to be a key battle today as well.
Yeah.
You know, who comes out on top, because I think defensively, yeah, we've been good, but we can be got at. And I think Rondon's physicality could trouble our defenders. You know, like if Gordon gets him behind, he's got the pace to be able to, you know, basically get in on goal. You know? So I think there will be chances for them to have to save shots tonight. Both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I said it would be 4-3. Attacking football tonight. Watch. You'll be entertained. You know what I mean?
Man. We'll see. But in terms of like you're doing a show at some point with Taylor tonight as well.
Oh, I've already done that one. So you can go watch it if you want. But yeah, me and Taylor went obviously the preview for it. We talked about brands. We talked about it's got timestamps on it if you want to see it. But we talk about the board. We talk about Arsenal versus Everton, the injury news, the starting 11, the predicted starting 11. So that's a little warm up show that we did yesterday, like sort of what we've done here. And then obviously later on tonight, the big one, 7:30. Me and GunnerKing with Ali. It's gonna be interesting. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. It really will be, because I said that, you know, I've been saying this for the past 10 minutes. 4-3. Watch. It's going to be a goal straight away. Goal back. It's going to be back and forth, and someone's going to go 4-2 up.
I mean,
I'm open anyway. You know what I mean? I am open.
Fingers. To be honest, I want to see an attacking game anyway, because like I think in terms of like I think Arsenal are not scoring enough goals, and that's something we need to solve very quickly if for our own top 4 aspirations, or even to get in the top 6. You know, but so I think both teams are going to be of that mindset today, where it's like, look, we need to start scoring goals and fast. But just quickly looking at this as well, like our lineup must be Ramsdale, Tierney, White, Gabriel. I mean, the back 5 I think is picking itself at the moment. So you've gone Resty aside.
Sorry, you've got to start Martinelli on Martinelli Monday.
Yeah,
you got to start him. Come on.
I think he's looked really good in the last 2 games. Yeah. A lot of people say that Arteta has an agenda against him. He did his ACL at age 19, and he broke down a lot last season recovering from that injury. So I've always maintained that Arteta is protecting him and his body physically rather than not wanting to play him. And then at the same time, Saka and Smith Rowe's form has just been so good. It's like, how do you take them out of the squad? You know, so I think ESR's apparently got a knock, has to do a late fitness test. I think we should trust Martinelli to come in and reserve ESR for the bench to come on if needed. Not disrespecting Everton, because Martinelli got an assist and scored in his last 2 games, you know, so and you know, I've had loads of United fans that say that he was comfortably our best player against them.
Yeah, so, well, we'll see, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, I guess, you know, for the rest of the season, I mean, you know, this stage, what would you say your expectations and your targets are for Everton?
Just mid-table. I'd like to think Europe, but just get mid-table. Just secure the season. Don't get relegated. Is my book. Get as high as possible. And if we get Europe, we get Europe. But it's a pipe dream at the moment. You know, you're looking down at the pipe. You're going, it's very narrow. Can we make it? Nah, maybe not. You know what I mean? So I'd say mid-table. I really would.
Yeah, and look, I mean, to be honest, I've never really had any gripes with Everton, and like just for me as well, just like. Obviously, being a lot older, like I think I was born in '83. The year before that, I'm pretty sure you won the title.
Yes, I know for a fact we won.
Everton were a massive club in my childhood.
The 80s, we dominated. We did dominate. I couldn't tell you the exact times we won, but I know we won a league title. I know we won a European Cup. We won a lot of stuff back in the day. We've won 9 league titles in our history. So. You know what I mean?
You're the closest to getting a double-digit number of league titles. Chelsea have 6.
Exactly.
Villa have 7. You know, even Sunderland have 6. You know, which I keep reminding Chelsea fans of. But like, for people that don't know, like, because I'm very big on. For me, I just find that the younger generation don't really like. They live in the here and now very much. They don't learn and like research the history, like of not just their club but their rivals. I probably know more about Chelsea's history than a lot of Chelsea fans. I probably know more about Tottenham's history than a lot of Tottenham fans. Like, because when we was growing up, it was like, you know, these things, you know. And I think with Everton, when I was a child, coincidentally, that cycle was just coming to an end. But what you had from that is still like the transition was happening, but like Everton fans were still like, look, we are still this massive club, and like this is all the stuff that we have done, like not in our most recent history, which was just before you've been born. So I grew up, man. I remember the days of Big Duncan Ferguson, man. Like, this guy, man, he was an absolute killer. Like, and I had the pleasure of watching him week in, week out. He wasn't afraid to get in people's faces.
Yeah.
So dominant in the air, but he was slept on so much technically as a footballer. Everyone just thought this guy's just pin a cross into the box and he'll get on the end of it with his head. Nah. This guy could play with his feet as well. Like, he was impressive, man. And I just remember just looking back to like some of the players that you had, like, you know, I mean, even more recently, like the likes of Seamus Coleman, club legend, Premier League legend, as far as I'm concerned. Like, we were linked to him a lot, and you know, I was looking at how Bellerin was, maybe bringing him in. Like, he's a natural leader. You know, I think it's, for me, the point I'm getting to is it's almost sad to see, like, you know, clubs like Everton, like Forest, you know, like the just before my lifetime, for those that care to actually learn and actually look beyond their own lifetime span, which they should be doing. I feel it's every fan's responsibility to know the history of their football club and to know the history of like the big clubs. And Everton, contrary to what everyone might think, are a big club.
We're bigger than Spurs. We're in the top 6.
How can you
in my book anyway.
Spurs have 2 league titles. Yeah, so Everton have 7 more league titles.
I think we are big. We are definitely bigger than Spurs. I don't care. I'll debate anyone. We are bigger than Spurs.
It's interesting. Like, the quality of trophies, like 2 league titles to 9 is a big difference. Tottenham fans will say, yeah, but we've won more trophies. But it's like, yeah, but what's the quality of those trophies? Like, Everton have won European trophies as well, I believe. And Tottenham have got 3. You know, and I think I would want to see Everton like just back.
We'll be back eventually.
It's going to take some time, man. Like, just the rivalry that you have with Liverpool, like, just for that to be on a more even keel for me, I just think that would make the Premier League so interesting. You know, like, because seeing Tottenham and Liverpool seeing Tottenham and West Ham, for example, especially West Ham, seeing them resurge at the moment. For London clubs, there's like 6 or 7 in the Premier League at the moment. The rivalries are getting more interesting again, and it's getting more interesting for the fans of all these clubs. You know, like, it's never been a conversation with West Ham, respectfully, and it is now. In my childhood, when the Premier League era started, Chelsea had 5 trophies.
Yeah.
You know, and now, you know, there is a very real, tangible group of people that believe London is blue, and I'm not. That's a different stream for me, but I can definitely reconcile with their arguments. West Ham, they finished 5th last season, and they're starting strong again this season. Tottenham are obviously in the mix again. Okay, they've not won anything recently, but they finished above us for the last 5 years. I want to see that happen in Liverpool with Everton.
Yeah, well,
as a spectator, you know, like, I genuinely want to see that, because I just think that it'll make for a better standard of the league as a whole.
Yeah. Well, it won't be this season, but maybe another season it will be. You know, hopefully. I'm just not going to roll a bet on it, because why should I? Because we've not had any success in 25 years. But I know in my lifetime we'll win at least 1 trophy. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, look, I genuinely wish you guys all the best for that. Like, you know, as I said, you know, Everton as a club in my childhood, I always just kind of watched and liked, to be honest. You know, like they were our bogey team for quite a period of that as well. Like even back in the Wenger days as well. You know, so yeah, man. I mean, let's see what happens tonight.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I want the Arsenal win, but I really just hope that Everton do avoid, I think they will avoid relegation.
Yeah, relegation's not on the cards in my book. Not on the cards at all. But yeah, have to see tonight, 7:30. Stay tuned.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
guys,
So,
we'll be going live on TikTok at that time, and yeah, obviously go check Kieran's channel if you haven't already. I'm sure many people already have, but yeah, great content on there. Check out his TikTok, like one of the funniest guys on TikTok, honestly. And you know,
I have to reserve that to many other people, but before me, you know what I mean. But yeah, thanks anyway.
Yeah, man, and like, yeah, it'll be good to maybe have you on again soon. Maybe we'll do a roundup show.
Absolutely,
depending on the results.
I mean, I'll see if I'm free, because I've had a few people message me being like, if Everton lose tonight, will you come on Tuesday? And I'm like, oh, okay then. You know what I mean? So hopefully not. Hopefully we just have a quiet day tomorrow, because if we have a quiet day tomorrow, that means that Everton have won. So yeah.
I'll be about, mate. Win or lose,
Yeah.
you notice me, man. Even against United, we lost. I was about, but yeah, it will definitely. It will pain if we lose tonight, man. Not so much for Everton fans. For me, it's United. That old rivalry is back. Like, it feels like those Wenger and Fergie era days. Like, because for a few seasons, we've not been competing with United. You know, like they've been going for the Champions League spots. We've been, at best, can we get in Europe? But now, given the bad form of their season and the fact that they're in, realistically, their best hope is top 4, and realistically our best hope is top 4. Like, I'm just feeling that ramp up a notch between Arsenal and United fans, and look, that's great. Like, I personally have not seen a better rivalry in the Premier League era. You may not ever see a rivalry that good in the Premier League era. So it's more for that this win has to happen, unfortunately. But we'll see, man.
Yeah.
But Kieran, it's been really good to have you on. Everyone that has been tuned in and shown their support. I'm rattling for as many comments now. Big up to Planet Football and the rest of the Everton guys that have tuned in. Big up all the Arsenal man that have tuned in as well, and ladies for that matter. Yeah, guys, we'll be on TikTok later, 7:30, doing our live stream watch along. So yeah, to be sure to tune in for that as well.
Yeah.
Take it easy, guys.
We are Arsenal. When we born, we love Arsenal. Oh yes.